Hello and welcome our dear viewers to this special interview with Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Estonia, Keristi, who is on an official visit to the state of Kuwait right now. Your Excellency, welcome to Kuwait and thank you for giving us the time to have this interview. It is our great honor and pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you, and I'm very grateful to Kuwaiti people for the welcoming they have been giving to me and my delegation. It has been wonderful to be here.
Okay, we're glad to have you here. Your Excellency, we have learned that this is your first state visit to Kuwait. Could you please tell us more about your visit here in Kuwait and what is the main purpose of your visit here?
Interestingly, for me it is first, but Estonian president also visited Kuwait in 1993, and we just celebrated 25 years of our diplomatic relations between the two countries. So geographically, we have been far apart. Yeah. But as we know, in 21st century, geography is less and less important. A lot of our cooperation could be, particularly in the future, based on developing together the digital services, both in the region and also in the less developed parts of the world, where a Kuwaiti fund is very active. We have been discussing the potential of technology in state building today very much.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Now, during your visit, Your Excellency, you have met with Kuwaiti leadership and officials. Could you tell us a little bit more about the main topics being discussed during those meetings? And is there any plans to sign any agreements or memorandums of understanding or what have you?
We just signed a little while ago a memorandum of understanding on digital development. And we really brought with us a big business delegation with all important players from Estonia, who actually are quite active in Middle East in helping to develop e-services. This has been one of the main aspects of our debate. Right. The other aspect has been the potential cooperation between Estonia and Kuwait also in the regional dimension. Estonia is the front-runner of the Free Seas Initiative, which is the gathering of Eastern European presidents next time in Tallinn, accompanied with business conference, and therefore it's a huge summit. And we really would like to see Kuwaiti investors participating in these discussions about infrastructure development in Eastern Europe. It's also that our good partner, America, United States of America, are an active participant in Free Seas Initiative. Yeah. So we have been discussing this element. Yeah. And then we must never forget multilateralism. Small countries, we depend on multilateral cooperation. Yeah. Kuwait is just finishing its time in the Security Council. Estonia is just starting. And we are both stickers to the international law, because this is, as we all know, the nuclear weapon of small states, the existence and upholding of international rules-based world order.
Your Excellency, we saw, as you mentioned, top Estonian officials accompanying you, and especially in the various fields of economy and trade. Are there any plans, for the future, or could you elaborate more about, your plans in strengthening bilateral relations between the two countries and trade, in particular with the state of Kuwait?
Yes, as I just mentioned, we have offered cooperation through the regional development forum called Free Seas in Eastern Europe, where we have the leverage of other 11 countries, not only Estonian market, which in itself is tiny. But of course, Estonia is part of the European Union, so if you are on our market, you are on a big market, which is the world's biggest and richest. Yeah. In addition, Estonia offers the opportunity to establish companies and work these companies in Estonia in a low bureaucracy environment. You don't have to be in Estonia to file taxes for your company. You can do all these things online. So there is a great opportunity if you want to enter the European market to do so through Estonia. This is also one of the value offers which I believe we can make. And then, of course, I already mentioned, you are very active in development cooperation. And the technologies which we are using in state building are really popular among African Union countries. So we could match your experience and resources with our knowledge and work together in that region to the benefit of those countries, but also to the benefit of our businesses.
Yes. And as you know, Your Excellency, Kuwait has played a positive role in all fields, globally and regionally. How do you see the role played by the state of Kuwait, especially in maintaining peace and security in the Middle East, and its role in helping other countries, especially in times of crises and disasters?
As I also said to His Excellency the Emir of Kuwait, we admire your role in peace building, your tedious and hard work in working towards peaceful development of your region. We admire your democracy and your parliament and the hard work which you are doing in a really not so stable area where you are working. And we do not have that lot of experience in the region. We have one embassy, but it's newly established. So we do have to rely, and we plan to rely a lot on your vast understanding and experience on how to patiently and tirelessly work towards better solutions for the future peace and prosperity.
Yes. Your Excellency, as you know, Kuwait's humanitarian role is one of the main pillars of Kuwaiti diplomacy, emanating from its belief in the importance of supporting people and countries facing harsh conditions as the consequences of natural man disaster or what have you, such wars and armed conflicts. Now, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah was named the United Nations by the United Nations as the humanitarian leader and Kuwait as the center of humanitarian action. How do you describe this special status and what kind of impact do you think would have on the state of Kuwait globally?
I think this is a recognition that even if times have been trying, both for your own country only 30 years ago and for the neighboring countries, you have been able to build bridges with Iraqi people, with all neighboring people. You have a deep understanding of their concerns, and you have been ready to contribute. And we see you in this region as somebody whom we could follow. Estonia, by the way, even if we are geographically far away, we have been very much present in the NATO missions, for example, in Iraq, helping to state build and develop that country as well. We have also been very active in UNICEF. We trust into UN, other bodies like UNHCR to solve the humanitarian crisis in the region. So you are the beacon from the region to advise others on how to move forward.
Your Excellency, as you mentioned earlier, Estonia is on its course to joining the United Nations Security Council. Now, as you know, since the admission of the state of Kuwait to the United Nations on the 14th of May 1963, and its non-permanent membership with the United Nations Security Council since January 2018. Now, the state of Kuwait has been pursuing peaceful and balanced policies in relations with others based on principles and objectives of the United Nations Charter. Now, Kuwait proceeds with its firm conviction that belief and of the importance of not restoring to use of threat or force to settle disputes, but rather, using dialogue to foster the values of tolerance and coexistence between the different civilizations, cultures, and religions. How do you describe Kuwait's role in the United Nations so far? And how do you describe its efforts as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council in promoting peace worldwide?
Yes, in a way, we see Security Council very similarly. We are the stickers to international rule and law. And this is our role, and this is why we are elected and supported in the elections, in case there is a contested seat. And your story from 1963 to the non-permanent membership actually is very parallel to our own story. In 1979, 45 brave people risking Soviet repressions and going thereafter to Gulag for their action sent out the Baltic Memorandum to United Nations and European Union and other countries concerned, pleading for the opportunity to have a referendum and reinstall Baltic states as independent states. And 40 years after that event, we now take this seat behind the table of the UNSC, the most difficult negotiating table globally. Your patience in these discussions and this parallel line in our history, knowing what are the hardships because we have lived them. In our generation, we ourselves still remember it. Estonia regained independence in 1991. So have your leaders the memory, the practical memory of hardships. we are very compassionate towards the others facing difficult times now.
The state of Kuwait is looking forward to engage in business relationships and business opportunities, investments in Estonia. What opportunities do you think could attract and encourage Kuwaiti businessmen to invest in Estonia? And are there any facilitations for the Kuwaitis doing business in Estonia?
We are working on the agreement of mutual protection of investment. There is an EU approval procedure. We are currently in this procedure. As soon as we get this cleared, we are ready to sign this agreement. We are also moving forward with the avoidance of double taxation agreement between the two countries. And as I said already, we have the memorandum on digital. On these three pillars, we can actually build a lot of cooperation. And I also see that Estonian industry of wooden houses, we are the fourth biggest exporter globally of wooden houses, is an area where there is a lot of technology, new technology, which needs investment. Then there is a lot of infrastructure projects in our region. As you well know, Europe is well connected in its eastern part and western part, but the interlinkage between east, west, north, south, this is not so much present. So there are lots of modern infrastructure projects which we can develop together and also use your experience and your capacities there. Yeah. I see also that, I declare my taxes online since 1997, 20 years now. I cannot imagine I would have to turn to government office for any public service. And I do know that in the region there are countries like Oman who claim that Estonian developed tailor-made public services have made them to rise in the ease of doing business index quite considerably. These companies are all in my business delegation and they are all ready to serve Kuwaiti people as well.
Okay. As you mentioned, investments and trades in Estonia have certain systems and procedures to be followed. Do you think those procedures simple and easy for Kuwaiti investors to meet?
Yes, Estonia is definitely not a tax paradise. But what it is bureaucracy-free business environment. As I said, you can run your business from afar. If you become Estonian e-resident, you gain access to all digital services and all business vis-a-vis government, everything you need to do with Estonian government. This can be done online. So I do see us as a very useful, low bureaucracy business climate. And in addition, it is part of the European Union. This is important as well. Yeah. You cannot find, any place easier to, let's say, tell who works in your company and pay the taxes accordingly. Tax environment, as I said, we are normally European, but actually consider the best environment as far as European countries go also in tax climate. And also we are one of the countries with the smallest proportion of public spending in our GDP. So I would say we are an attractive business environment indeed, even if we are traditional European social market economy.
That's great, Your Excellency. What do you think, what fields of investment do you recommend the most for Kuwaiti businessmen?
Infrastructure, tourism. I understand it's very hot in this country in the summer. Yes. Well, we are the country where air conditioning is on even outdoors all year long. In the winter, skiing, yes, that's an opportunity. But I guess more and more people from this region during the hottest summer months are seeking refuge somewhere in Europe. Well, our summer temperatures are around 25, mild seaside, a lot of beaches. Yeah. I see also a lot of potential for tourism development between our two countries.
Yeah, Your Excellency, this leads me to my next question. As you mentioned, Estonia enjoys large, beautiful landscapes and forest. In addition, it contains over 1,400 lakes and beautiful beaches, and a lot of things that attracts tourists every year. Could you tell us a little bit more about Estonia's tourism privileges and visas agreements for the state of Kuwait?
I am quite sure that if people of Kuwait want to visit Estonia, then our tourism industry is ready to effortlessly cater for all their needs. As I said, we are not an inefficient bureaucracy, we are a very efficient one. So you are very much welcome to Estonia, and I am quite sure that one day maybe we will also have a direct flight, because Estonia, by the way, doesn't have a national carrier. But we have a very nice airport, which some shipping companies use as turnaround points where they load and unload their big tourism ships. And therefore, I'm quite sure that there is space also for your airline to organize direct flights to our country.
Okay. Estonia is a great example of peace and harmony, living in diversity of languages and religions, among the Muslims. How did you manage to have such positive approach to different sectors of the society?
It may be difficult to understand, but majority of Estonian people, for us religion is really not very much in our lives present daily. Yes, we do worship, and those who worship do it calmly, and they are of course free to follow whichever religion they wish and want. But we are normally not so interested in what somebody believes. And many of us actually do not go to churches at all. So this is maybe the reason why we are like we are. It's very rare and difficult even maybe to understand. But the majority of us, well, we believe that we are the masters of our own destiny. And we work hard to make sure that this destiny is bright, safe and prosperous.
Your Excellency, I learned that you were the first woman to take post in Estonia, and the youngest president, I think, in Estonia. How was that of a challenge, and did you face any obstacles, being the youngest and a female president in Estonia?
Yes, but you have to take this in this perspective that all our neighbors, Latvia, Finland, already long ago have had female presidents. Iceland was the first to have a female president. The first prime minister in a major European country took office in 1969 when I was born, actually. And so this was nothing special in this sense. Also, the age-wise, you have to put this in perspective that I have, at least if I count now, I think there are 2 presidents who are younger than I am in Europe, and many who are my age. Prime ministers tend to be around 40 nowadays. So this is nothing special. But what is special is that Estonian children going to kindergarten and school, when they draw national holiday and when they draw president, they draw a woman. So they would inherently know that it doesn't matter whether you are a boy or a girl. You can become a national leader.
That's a great approach. Your Excellency, any other thoughts you would like to share with our viewers here in Kuwait? Any message you would like to send out through this interview?
I would really like to express my sincerest gratitude for the reception me and my delegation has had in this country, the warm welcome, the pleasure which you seem to be taking of taking your visitors to wonderful restaurants. You have been very flexible in organizing our visit. We have enjoyed a long walk on the seaside, enjoyed the warm temperature and nice weather here. We're extremely grateful to Kuwaiti people and to everybody who has contributed to this state visit. Thank you very much.
This has been a short visit for you, but we hope in the future that you come and you stay a little bit longer so you can see different scenes here in Kuwait. Your Excellency, we would like to thank you for your time, and we wish you a very pleasant stay here in Kuwait, and we hope that you come back and visit us again.
Thank you. That is my hope too. Thank you.
Our dear viewers, this brings us to the end of our interview. We would like to thank once again Her Excellency the President of the Republic of Estonia, Keristi, for being with us today, and we thank our dear viewers for watching and hope to see you in future interviews. Thank you and take care.